Today I'm sharing 6 super easy and delicious breakfast recipes, both sweet and savory, to kickstart your mornings. Whether you're all about cheesy comfort food or indulgent bakery style treats, you'll find a new favorite here. Plus, there are several recipes in today's video that offer a little bit of a shortcut while still kind of seeming impressive. So let's get cooking, y'all. So let's get these onions going. I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan. Alright, onions going in. So we're just going to continue to saute these onions until they're nice and caramelized. Should take probably 5-10 minutes. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and give a little sprinkle of salt, a little sprinkle of pepper while these are cooking. Add a little bit of flavor to our onion layer. Alright, our onions are nice and caramelized. I'm just going to transfer them over here because now we're going to saute our bacon in the same skillet. Going to transfer it over here to a paper plate with a couple paper towels. I don't want to add all that grease in there. And let that drain for just a second. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and add in our bacon with our onions. Alright, we have 8 eggs into a bowl. Next, we're going to add 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Next, we're going to add just a little pinch of some salt and pepper. And then we're just going to whisk everything together. Alright, so we have our egg and cream mixture. Next, we're just going to start adding in that shredded cheddar. We're also going to pour in or dump in those caramelized onions and our bacon. I'm just going to give everything a good stir. This already looks so good. Oh my gosh, it's going to be delicious. It does. It smells delicious. Next, we just have our deep dish pie shell. I just like to place mine on a cookie sheet when I'm doing this. It just makes it for easier transfer in and out of the oven without having to worry about spilling it everywhere. Fill her up. And she is going to be full. Alright, y'all, so we had a full little pie here. So I actually strained or just kind of scooped out some of the egg mixture so we could add in more of the bacon and the cheese and the onion. So now I'm just trying to get it spread out a little bit more evenly. I didn't want it to be so full to where it covered up our crust, because y'all, the crust is like one of my favorite parts of a pie. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so our oven is already preheated to 400. I'm going to first loosely cover our pie, and it's going to bake loosely covered for 45 minutes, and then we're going to take the aluminum foil off, and it'll bake uncovered for an additional 15 minutes. Alright, we've had our quiche cooling probably about 30 minutes or so. Slice into it. I'm so excited about this. It smells delicious in here, y'all. Good sized piece for show.
And for your husband.
I was gonna say, who am I kidding? We're gonna eat this piece. Alright. And depending on if you're serving this for breakfast, lunch, or even dinner.
Or brunch.
Or brunch, you can do some fruit with it. We're just gonna do a little green salad. Gonna brown up our sausage. I'm just using a medium-sized saucepan for this because once my sausage is nice and browned, I'm just put the rest of the ingredients in this pot instead of messing up another bowl. We're gonna go ahead and dice our red pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my red pepper and just let that cook for a few minutes just to kind of let that red pepper soften up a little bit. And also, by the way, this recipe does have green onion listed in the ingredients, and you would add that in now also if you wanted to use it. My Walmart didn't have any that I wanted to buy, so I'm just leaving that part out. Okay, so my sausage is browned up. So now I'm just taking my block of cream cheese, and I'm just gonna pop it right in there. Just gonna kind of mash it up a little bit. It'll start to melt. Once it does, we'll stir it all together. And then it'll be ready to put into our croissant rolls. All right, so everything's nice and browned up. That cream cheese is nice and melty in there. This already smells so good. It's already reminded me of Christmas, I guess because sausage balls, I really don't know. But I got my stove turned off, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set that to the side and get our croissant dough ready. All right, so now I've just brought my pot over here with all of my cream cheese and sausage mixture. And I'm just gonna put half of this mixture in here because we do have that other tube of crescent rolls. So this makes 2 rolls. So like I said, you could even just freeze the other one, which I thought about doing, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and make it. I think we'll eat them for breakfast and stuff like that. And you wanna leave a little edge. Don't put your sausage mixture all the way quite to the edge because you're gonna roll it up and you don't want it falling out. So the recipe said to leave about 1/4 of an inch. Then next, we're gonna try to just roll it up like a jelly roll, kind of pinching it, reinforcing it as I go. Now all you're gonna do is cut it into little pieces. So you'll have little pinwheels like this, and I have a baking sheet over here with some parchment paper on it. Just gonna place them on top of that. And these will just go in the oven for about 15 minutes. So of course we're starting with a package of Hawaiian rolls. I'm gonna get those sliced in half, and then we're gonna make a little mixture that you're gonna put in the middle of both of these halves. We're gonna start with a softened stick of butter, 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract. I'll have all the measurements and recipe down below, of course, and then about a 1/4 cup of honey. And we're just gonna mix that all together, and like I said, just spread all of this on both halves of our little rolls. And here in a second, I went ahead and put mine in the oven. You're gonna go ahead and bake them, but I forgot one thing. You also wanna add cinnamon here, and then you're gonna bake these for just about 15 minutes. While our rolls are in the oven, we're just gonna make a little cream cheese frosting for our cinnamon rolls. So of course we're gonna need 1 block of softened cream cheese, a little bit more softened butter, some powdered sugar, and vanilla extract. And I'm just gonna mix that all together, and we're actually gonna spread this cream cheese frosting in the middle and on top, and it makes a lot. These things are so ooey and gooey, y'all, and these are the most unique cinnamon rolls I think I have ever tried, and probably the most easy too. The whole thing, baking included, only took about 20 minutes to throw together. So like I said, once our rolls are nice and golden, we're just gonna spread on that frosting right in the middle, then plop the tops back on, spread a little bit more on top of that, and then I just kind of dusted the tops of mine with some cinnamon sugar, and my kids, of course, loved these. I definitely will be making these again, but I have to give a little bit of credit where credit is due. I actually saw the recipe for this on the King's Hawaiian's TikTok, so I'm not sure who the original creator of the recipe was, but props to them, because this will definitely not be the last time we make these. Y'all make sure you give this one a try. These honestly remind me of a cross between a cinnamon roll and like a cheese Danish. So unique, so ooey and gooey, you almost have to eat these cinnamon rolls with a fork. and I'm going to show y'all the best breakfast casserole we have tried. New to me, and oh my gosh, we loved it. So first, I just have a big old bowl here. I have 1 pound of browned sausage, and then you want to buy these larger croissants in your deli. You're going to need about 4 of them, and you're just going to crumble them up into the sausage into your bowl. And I wanted to tell y'all, I've made so many breakfast casseroles in the past, but usually they just use like a white bread, and honestly that's fine too. But I thought these croissants just added such a good texture, and I feel like they hold up better if you're gonna make it overnight. So also I'm adding in some sharp cheddar cheese to that. I'm just gonna give it a mix, and I didn't even let ours sit overnight. I actually baked it this morning, and you'll see how it turns out. Spoiler alert, it turns out so good. So next, I'm just bringing over my baking dish. I gave it a quick little spray, and then I'm going to add in that croissant and sausage and cheese mixture, kind of spread it out, make sure it's all nice and even. And then over on the side, in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add about 6 eggs, and then we're going to add a little heavy cream and also a little milk to that. And you can add whatever seasonings that you like: garlic, onion, salt, and pepper. So I'm adding that in. Also a little bit of paprika, just for a little bit of rich color in there. I'm going to scramble up those eggs, get that all mixed together, and you're just going to pour this all over top of your sausage and your croissants. And this is actually going to bake uncovered for about 30 to 35 minutes. So like I said, I love how the croissant just adds a little bit of a different texture, and baking it uncovered, just a few little bits on top get a little bit crispy. And this particular recipe, you actually make a white gravy. You can buy a packet, or you can just make it homemade with a little bit of flour and butter, and you pour that on top. It's like a sausage and egg, meats, biscuits, and gravy casserole. So good. Oh my goodness, y'all gotta make this. So we're gonna start with a baking dish. I'm not quite making this whole recipe, so I'll have the measurements and links for the recipes down below. You're just gonna cut some pancakes in half and kind of layer those in your baking dish. Then in a separate bowl, we're gonna add some eggs, some heavy cream, and a little bit of sugar. We're gonna whisk this all together, and then we're going to pour that all over our pancakes. And you can let this sit overnight if you want to make it ahead of time. I only let mine sit for about an hour on the night I made this, so either way works fine. Next, to a separate bowl, we're just going to add some flour, some brown sugar, some cinnamon, some salt, and some butter. We're just going to cube up that butter and then cut it in with a pastry cutter. Once the butter is pretty small, we're going to stir in some chopped pecans, and this is our pecan streusel topping. So we're just going to uncover our pancakes. We're going to just kind of place some of this topping all over top, and this is going to bake in the oven at 350 for about 50 or 55 minutes. And just look at how wonderful this is, topped with maple syrup, and this is seriously an amazing Christmas breakfast. This recipe is super easy to make, super delicious, and super filling as well. All right, so we just have a baking sheet here. I have one of these little parchment sheets in there. We have our puff pastry dough. I'm just gonna, you can roll this out with a rolling pin, but I'm just gonna kind of use my fingers just to kind of spread it out, make it a little bit more thin. I like a rustic pizza anyway. Now we're just gonna go around the edges and kind of make a little, just a little bit of a crust. Next, we're just gonna take a fork and we're gonna very gently poke some holes in here. And you really don't wanna poke it all the way through your crust, just kind of on the top. All right, this is going into a 425-degree oven for about 8 minutes. We're gonna pre-bake our crust before we add all of our breakfast toppings. All right, while that puff pastry is in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and give a little chop to our bacon. Also, while our crust is baking, we're gonna go ahead and get 3 eggs in our bowl. We're gonna mix our eggs with some milk. I'm gonna do just a tiny pinch of salt and a good pinch of black pepper. We're gonna give everything a really good whisk. You can start to see I'm getting some good bubbles in there. I just want to say, anytime you're doing scrambled eggs, this recipe or not, the more bubbles you have, the more fluffy your eggs are gonna be. So when your arm gets tired, take a breather, keep going. All right, next we're gonna go in with our cheese. I'm gonna start with the Colby Jack. And of course, this is where you can go crazy with the toppings. You could do sausage, you could do a veggie breakfast pizza, whatever you and your family like. But you really can't go wrong with bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm gonna get a little bit of this sharp cheddar as well. Next, I'm just gonna pour on our egg, our scrambled egg mixture. Nice and evenly on our pizza. Who doesn't love pizza for breakfast too? Y'all, I love cold pizza for breakfast. Let me know down below if you like cold pizza for breakfast. And lastly, we're just gonna top with that cooked and chopped bacon. All right, our breakfast pizza is going back into the oven for just about 10 or 15 minutes. All right, this is looking so good. Yum, I cannot wait to cut into this. You can tell that egg has set up really nicely. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Let's give this breakfast pizza a try. All right, y'all, taste test time. We're gonna taste this breakfast pizza. It's probably cooled down now. You going fork or picking up?
I think I'm gonna live dangerously.
Looks cheesy. Oh my gosh. That crust, y'all. I gotta get a bite of this crust. I love that buttery, flaky crust. You can pretty much put anything on top of that and it would be good. If you found some inspiration from today's video, go ahead and leave me a little bacon emoji down there in the comments. I would love to say hello to y'all and let me know which one of these recipes are you maybe thinking about giving a try this weekend. I have some more super easy recipe ideas right here on the screen if you're in the mood for seconds. I will meet you guys over there and I'll see y'all real soon in the next video. Bye y'all.